South Carolina, Mr. Duncan is recognized for 5 minutes. And by the way, Mr. Duncan is not on the terrorist watch list, despite references by Mr. Long.
Well, let me just say I appreciate the gentleman from Missouri continuing down that path, because I think it's very important. You know, I'd like to once hear somebody from this administration admit they made a mistake and own up to it and see some disciplinary action if necessary. Madam Secretary, you are the Secretary of Homeland Security. Somebody as a member of a foreign terrorist organization coming into this country is absolutely your responsibility. Absolutely. The buck stops right there. Homeland Security is something that I know you take a grave responsibility for, and we take very seriously on this committee and in Congress. And so, you know, let me just say that's not the path I wanted to go down, and I'm going to stop right there. In the final report of the Webster Commission on the FBI and the events at Fort Hood that was recently released, at the time of the Fort Hood attack, the FBI did not have access to all the relevant DOD databases, even though there was MODs for that sharing of information. They didn't have access to that to search for relevant information on Hassan. The FBI agents were not checking all of the FBI databases because there were so many of them, and the agents had not received formal training on how to use them. Some agents didn't even know that certain databases existed. And even when putting in a query for information on Major Hassan or his email exchanges with al-Awlaki, the databases did not produce all the relevant information necessary for clarity on that case. Now, I know FBI is a separate organization, but in 2009, y'all broke ground on a $3.4 billion facility housing 15,000 employees, the largest building project in the District of Columbia region, 68 years since the Pentagon was built. At that time, you said, we're going to have a one DHS atmosphere. DHS has a large amount of databases. Each of these databases do not appear to be linked to one central database with a Google-like interface allowing the simultaneous searching of all the relevant databases within DHS's wide system. In January 2010, the FBI deployed the Data Integration and Visualization System, DIVS, allowing authorized users to search for more than 50 FBI and non-FBI databases simultaneously. The Webster report points out very clearly that the Washington field office and TFO, I'm not sure which field office that was, did not search the DWS, EDMS, IDW, or the DALAS. Although he was a member of a blank, it's been redacted, counterterrorism squad, he says he did not know that DWS and EDMS even existed. It goes on to say that, let me find this. At the time of the Fort Hood shootings, however, with few exceptions, users accessed each database using a discrete interface, discrete password, and discrete search engine. From what I understand, there's so many different databases, you've got a different password for every one of them. You're not supposed to write those passwords down. It's a frustrating system for everyone involved at every level, not just in your agency, but every agency within the federal government. It goes on to say that the historical evolution of the multiple FBI and other U.S. intelligence community databases as discrete platforms has impeded the FBI and the USIC's ability to access, search, organize, manage electronically stored information in an efficient manner. So, under this one DHS mindset that you talk about, does DHS have any plans to expedite a process similar to DIVS for normalizing, consolidating, and integrating the information? And what I mean by that is, you know, we've got folks coming into this country on visas, and we don't know when they leave the country because there's no information sharing between the State Department and other agencies. This is a serious problem of information sharing that goes back to the 9/11 Commission report that talks about the stovepipe aspects of information between agencies. The territorial disputes, the turf wars of agencies responsible for protecting this country has got to end. As Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security, it's your responsibility, and I'll wait for an answer.
Well, Representative, first of all, as you correctly note, those are comments made by the Webster report as to FBI. Let me comment as to DHS and extend an invitation to you, because we actually have done a massive amount of work over the last 3.5 years, particularly since the Christmas Day bomber attempt in '09, to unify databases in such a fashion because data comes in from all over the place. So you need the data, but you also need some analytics with it, or else the data is just, it's just there. There's so much of it. Matt Olson can talk to that, I suspect. But if you were to go out, for example, to our National Targeting Center, you would see how we are now able to process and analyze 1.8 to 2 million passengers per day as they seek to fly into this country or around this country. So it's, you know, data can always be improved. It's never perfect. I'm not saying it is. But what I'm saying is I don't think there's a recognition by the committee yet of how much work has actually been done with the committee's support.
Do you not have to go out of tax system to get into another system to look there? Are there no cross-reference and sharing of information?
The time of the gentleman has expired. The reason I'm